Hello, beautiful hearts. My name is Ewan Wildheart for those who are new here to this platform. I occasionally, and I say occasionally of late, come on here and share some insights or the cycle report, which I used to do on a regular basis, but has dropped away a little bit as things have changed in my world. A lot of shifting and changing, as I'm sure it has for lots and lots of us as we navigate these times, these big challenging times of shifting sands. With all the big planetary movements of Saturn going into Pisces, Saturn bringing this structure, but Pisces is the mutable water. It's like, what is mutable water? What does it look like when the eldership of structure, the Lord of Time, goes into something that is timeless? Also with that Pluto moving out of Capricorn for a little bit, the first time since 2008. If you think back to 2008, what that was, and what has happened since then, we're getting a little taste of something new, and then Pluto will move back later on this year and next year to tie up the loose ends, to clean up the final rubble of whatever happened since 2008. So yeah, big shifting and changing, and that planet of Uranus, which is the sudden changes, ground shaking, it's revolution. It calls for us to change. In Taurus, which is, Taurus is fixed earth. But with Uranus there, is it really as fixed as we thought it was? Is it more of a shifting sands situation as opposed to solid concrete or solid clay that we stand on the earth? So, all these things are coming up in our lives, and whether you believe it or not, it will still happen. So, yeah, and just thinking of, here we are in the Southern Hemisphere. For those who are in the Southern Hemisphere, we've just passed autumn equinox. So the equinox in Northern Hemisphere, it was the spring equinox, hence the bunnies and the eggs. Here in the Southern Hemisphere, it is autumn. It's the letting go, it's the shedding, it's the harvest. And we're moving into the portal of our ancestors here in the Southern Hemisphere of Samhain and Halloween, which this year is on May 6th. It's the exact point between autumn equinox and winter solstice. So it's a winding in and winding down. It's just got very cold where I live here down in on Jojo Wurrung country in Central Highlands, Victoria in Australia. So it really feels like, coming in, but also what it also feels like is, what harvest do you have that's going to sustain you through those cold months? How, is the house internally, what's that like? Is that going to keep you comfortable and warm for the winter months ahead? So really bringing our focus inwards, in, and sorting out what no longer serves us and letting it go. Because, when winter comes, when the darkness comes, what is it that's going to stop us from being comfortable internally? And that goes with not just the physical house structure, but also, in our body, in our emotional internal world. What is it that we're being called to let go here at this time of year that we don't want to take into us into the deep darkness when we are forced to come in and to be with, to sit with ourselves. So it's a real call for letting go, just like the trees, our deciduous European trees that we have here, they're letting go of their leaves. The the summer harvest, the tomatoes are already in, you know, like, do we have enough that's going to keep us sustained and nourished over these dark times? Yeah, so that's happening. There's lots and lots going on. And I just wanted to shout out to you all and just to say, you know, you're not alone here. I think we're all moving through this collective portal shift. And, you know, what is it that you're going to be okay in these times ahead? You know, what's the setup? What are you setting up? And as my teacher Jane Hardwick Collins would say, you know, whatever begins at the beginning of the cycle sets the tone for the rest of the cycle. So yes, this is time of letting go and death, but with death there's a rebirth. You know, so what is the seeds that you're collecting now that you're going to be able to replant later on? You know, it's not only the harvest of the fruit or the wood or the vegetables or whatever, but it's also collecting of the seeds. And how well do you store those seeds? Or, you know, it could be like the ideas and the dreaming, you know, Saturn and Pisces, the dreamscape, and bringing structure to the dreamscape. Like, how are you going to hold the structures with tender love and care? These little tiny little mutable droplets of water, Pisces, or these little dreamings, these little ideas, and, you know, how we're going to hold those little seeds, you know, how well we're going to store them, you know. Are we going to store them in a warm, dark place, or you know, away from the mice, or, you know, things that can nibble and get to us? You know, these are the things, how we're going to hold our dreamings of the future, of, you know, not just for us, but for the earth and for our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. How are we going to hold and nourish those seeds so they can sprout when the time is right, when it's warm again, you know. So these are the things to think about now. Just quickly, so I mentioned before that so I'm still offering that one-on-one counselling. Mostly it's online at the moment, and it works really well. You know, the beautiful people that I've been seeing in that realm, we've had some profound shifts and moves, and it's deeply transformative and magical space to be in. So I am such a privilege to sit with people in that way. So I'm still offering that. We have a couple of things. The Temple of New Wheat, which is an astrology study group. So we're about to open the doors again for that circle, 6-month circle, starting in June to December. And that is $450, which includes a hour-and-a-half one-on-one session with me, plus teaching, cheat sheets. We have a circle once a month and a outline of all the astrological transits for that month, so you can follow it. So this is really for beginners to intermediates level of astrology wisdom. Yeah, so it's such an exciting group. We have so much fun and share so much. It's such a beautiful, beautiful group of community of sisters, but we're open to everybody. But it's amazing. So that is starting again in June. We have the Temple of Inanna, the Invoking Inanna journey, which is a deep dive into the underworld, starting in the end of June as well. Lots of June stuff. Busy. That's also a 6-month journey, and that is following the myth of Inanna. Inanna is the goddess of heaven and earth, who hears the call to the underworld to visit her dark goddess sister Eurishka. And what that is about, it's a deep transformative journey. So we meet once a week. We have 3 weeks in the underworld where we don't contact we don't have circle, but we have a wilderness immersion day, and we have a closing gathering at the end. And is, you know, we spend 7 weeks letting go of what no longer serves, what I was talking about before. What are you letting go to go into the darkness? And then 7 weeks return, where we reclaim our power and step into who we really are, you know, to remember that sparkling divine light of who we are. And it's so powerful. So that is happening in June. Also, we have my dear friend Liz Maloney and I, midwife Liz Maloney, we're doing two empowered birth workshops. This is for birth workers. It's for pregnant mamas and their partners. It's a whole day of us, Liz and I, talking about birth and, you know, how you can walk into your birthing situation feeling strong and empowered and wise and knowledgeable and know what to do, you know, do all the, you know, the research and things to look at and positions, and we talk about all sorts of amazing birthy things. It's such a fun workshop. So that's happening. We've got one in April, and I'll put the link below, and one in June as well. And also a shamanic drum making journey. We have my dear friend and sister Tash Koltester. So we do a whole weekend together where we make a shamanic drum. So these drums behind me are all medicine drums, and we look at our birth stories in those medicine drum journeys. We have one in June coming up, which we'll be making a deer. It's deer medicine, really coming back to our ancestral roots, and we're calling it Coming Home. And just feeling that for those who have a Northern Hemisphere ancestral lineage, this will be a very powerful drum making coming into winter. So that will be in June, and I'll also put the link to that below. Yeah, I think that's all that's happening. I will post things on my Instagram. Is probably the place I'm most active. So as we move into this eclipse period and all the things that are happening, I just invite you just to connect in with the earth, feel the solidness of the earth and the holding of the earth, and the community, know who is around you, connect in, even just a smile to the elderly woman in the supermarket, or, something just to share your love and to bring love and happiness as much as you can out into the world. And if you're not feeling the love and happiness, just be open to receive that smile that someone might give you in the supermarket. So much love, and journey well.